There's probably a 90% chance that you will fail if you don't do this. And there is a 97% chance that you will succeed if you do. So it's staggering, the difference. And what that is paid advertising. Paid ads can be a multitude of different ways. You can, just throw out a few ideas for you. One idea is that you can have another host who might be in your same genre. They host a different podcast, and you could do a swap where you have some advertising, or you have basically shout outs for their show. You talk about, hey, if you like this show, you might also like this other show that's in the same, you wouldn't say the same genre, but I'm telling you right now how, basically lack of like the exact words, because who knows what is your exact genre, but you will put it in. Like if I'm in real estate, hey, there's another podcast. If you're looking to be successful in real estate and you're listening to this podcast, you might also like a podcast from my friend who has a real estate podcast that I think you're going to be able to gain value from as well. And then you shout that person out and you ask them to shout you out. Ninja strategy or extra technique here that really will add some more value to you and to that other person. If you're doing a reverse advertisement on podcasts, it's almost a waste of time if you only do one of these. That's the sad truth of it. They say that statistically, it usually takes 6 to 13 times for your perfect person to hear your message before they end up taking advantage of it. So for example, let's say you do HVAC. You basically do swamp coolers, air conditioners, and heaters. And you are trying to advertise. You're trying to put out some ads for your neighborhood. If you send mail one time, you might get one person to call you, and maybe you spent thousands and thousands of dollars to get these out the one time. But if only one person calls you, and let's just say that they have a $500 job, did you make money or did you lose money? Unfortunately, you actually lost money because you put thousands out, but you only got hundreds back. And that can be a real sad thing. And so we've learned over time with following and tracking the amount of times that we get in front of somebody, we've learned that it takes 6 to 13 times. So if you're that same HVAC person that wants to do more work in your neighborhood, and this goes with your podcast as well, then you're going to want to send a minimum of 6 direct mail pieces to that whole audience, to all of those people in that neighborhood. When you get to at least that 6th time, you've spent thousands upon thousands of dollars, and you're thinking to yourself, this isn't worth it. You're mistakenly saying, hey, it's not worth it to spend all this money because on the first one, I already lost money. And if I'm going to do another one, I'm going to lose even more money. And if I do another one, I'm going to lose even more. But what they have found is once you do that 6th, 7th, 8th, 9th, through the 13th mail piece, direct mail piece, or message on your podcast or on your friend's podcast that's in the same genre as you, when you do it a number of times, the cool thing is your avatar continues to see your message. And eventually they're like, yep, I keep seeing this logo. I trust it. I want it. And that's why in general, Coca-Cola and Pepsi, they get the most amount of business out there. Why? Because they've been I'm saying they've been cramming it down our throats. But basically they've been showing these ads for this soda brand for a long, long time. And we get used to it. We get used to thinking that our friends like it. And eventually we will try it. And some of us get absolutely addicted to that stuff. I've got a couple friends who are addicted to Diet Coke, and that could be you, but it didn't happen after the first time that they saw Diet Coke or the 5th time that they saw Diet Coke. It generally happens after 6 to 13 times. So if you want your podcast to grow and you're advertising on somebody else's podcast, 1 or 2 or 3 shout outs, it's not going to change much. Same thing if you're that HVAC person putting out ads to the right neighborhood for you. Very rarely is somebody going to call off of one thing. You'll get it because they'll say, I was already thinking this and this came at the exact time. I'll just try them out. But for most of us human beings that are, wired the same way, we're not going to actually call that person after we've seen it a few times.